the Duel Arena, one of RuneScape's most beloved and hated pieces of content in the game. Here you can either lose the bank you've worked years to attain, or walk away richer than you could ever imagine.
Ah! Oh my god, we're gonna win! Ah! Ah! Ah!
Gonna win, but in reality...
Sorry, I dropped my bag of bull!
I can't actually lose this thing. It's actually genuinely borderline impossible to lose this thing.
However, in most cases, you need to have already achieved the maximum combat level to be able to stake fairly. Since that involves potentially thousands of hours of playtime, it's no surprise that players will fork over just a couple real-world dollars to get an account with those stats in just minutes. But that doesn't always go according to plan. In today's video, we'll explore the strange world of account renting and the scams involved with it. So first of all, we just have to cover the topic of account sharing in general. Just so there's no confusion, I'm going to play this clip from the June 8th, 2017 Q&A, so it's very clear what Jagex's stance on it actually is.
While account sharing is against the rules, we will not actively take action against players casually sharing accounts for the purposes of community or social activities, where there is deemed to be no risk to the game integrity, and all parties involved have a mutual acceptance of the account being used in that way. We consider account sharing for the purposes of completing quests or minigames such as the Inferno to be damaging to the integrity of the game, which we will take action against.
So more or less, account sharing is still against the rules, but action won't be taken against those doing it unless it harms the game integrity, which the subject we're about to discuss definitely does. That is the service of account renting, in which players with max combat stats rent their account out to other players for either GP or real-world cash. This is surprisingly one of the most dangerous underground services to both purchase and sell, for multiple reasons that we're going to get into later in this video. Why exactly would someone ever want to rent an account in the first place? Well, there's a couple reasons for that, but there's just one main one. That being that the player has a lot of GP to stake but doesn't have the stats for it. Rather than have a friend stake for them, they simply pay a few dollars an hour and have an account to use really as long as they'd like. They transfer the money from their main account to the staking account, and whenever they're finished, they just transfer it back. From what I've seen, these services range anywhere from 1 or 2 mil an hour, all the way to 10 mil. In order to protect themselves, some sellers also require a couple million GP deposit. They do this because a lot can go wrong when you're handing your account information over to a complete stranger. Many of these sellers also have terms of service and rules for anyone that rents from them. For example, they're not allowed to leave the Duel Arena, commission stake, break any in-game rules, and some sellers don't allow the buyer to record videos or live stream using the account. Should the renter break any of these rules, the seller is then allowed to keep the buyer's deposit. You may be thinking now, why would anyone ever rent out their account when the seller is at such a massive risk? Multiple people a day are handling this account, and should the seller get banned, they have really no clue who caused it. Although this is a big risk for the seller, chances are they have a lot more than one max combat account. Most of them actually have a couple that they really do nothing with except rent out to other players. Should one get banned, it really does not take long to get a new one. So in my opinion, the buyer is actually at an even higher risk. Now, why is that the case? Don't forget that they obviously need to get money on the account they're staking on. Seeing as how these people pay up to 5 or 10 mil an hour just to use an account, chances are they're sitting on a lot of GP. So what happens when they trade 500 million to the rented account and 10 minutes later the seller recovers it? Well, they're kind of out of luck. If they didn't record it happening or have any other form of proof, the seller faces no punishment. Of course, scamming people like this could ruin a seller's reputation, but it's happened in the past and is still an ongoing scam within this community. Due to how dangerous this service is, the forum section that advertises it has 6 different threads informing players of the rules of using this service and just how easy it is for something to go wrong. For the most part, all experienced sellers have their account recovery details written down somewhere safe, so should they ever try to run this scam, or the person renting the account tries to steal it, they have the ability to get it back very quickly. Overall, this is just a very strange market that exists within the RuneScape community. My personal advice, I'd just stick to trading your main account on your own and not renting. Really, in my opinion, it's just not worth the risk at all. You're not only risking your main account getting banned, you're also risking millions of GP when you trade it over to the account you're renting. Before I close this video out, how has Jagex actually responded to this problem? They've actually suggested some pretty extreme changes to the Duel Arena in order to try and prevent it. The main one being the ability to temporarily boost your stats within the duel to max. This is from a news post from March 16th, 2018, and it says this option would mean that the odd stakers would lose their advantage and we keep the Duel Arena open. Note that the boosted stats wouldn't affect what equipment you're able to wield. A level 3 couldn't stake with an Abyssal Whip, for example. The option would appear within the duel interface. Players using this option will not gain XP in duels. This would remove the renting service altogether and would also harm the account selling business. However, this causes a whole bunch of other problems that are even more of an issue than people who account share. For example, let's say another Duel Arena glitch happens, and people can hop on their level 3 accounts and abuse it without risking their mains. Although, of course, if they do want to use items like the Abyssal Whip, they do have to train the account back up, but then again, getting to the levels to do that is fairly simple. Regardless, as most of you have probably already seen, Jagex has made improvements to the Duel Arena in the latest update, like stakes having to be even, and you can only stake gold and platinum tokens rather than items. These are huge quality of life updates for the Sand Casino, and should completely remove a lot of scamming that happens there frequently. As for account renting, chances are that's very low on Jagex's list of priorities, and as for now, it's here to stay, regardless of how risky it is.
You know, it really does sound like a risky thing when you meet somebody who says, well, give me some money now, maybe, and then give me access to your RuneScape account. It seems like a very, very easy way to find yourself possessed of neither.
Anyway, that's it for this video. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and an even bigger thank you to all of my Patreon supporters whose names are on screen now. If you liked this video, then feel free to obviously drop a like, maybe even watch another video like the one I have recommended on screen, or just hit that subscribe button so you can see all my future videos. Anyway, regardless of what you do, I will see you in the next one.